There are moments in life when the absence of validation seems louder than any criticism. You show up, you stay consistent, you do the work with care and integrity, and yet nothing external reflects it back to you. No applause, no confirmation, no clear sign that what you're doing matters. This is usually when most people stop, not because they lack talent or commitment, but because they begin to question themselves. They wonder whether they're late, behind, or simply mistaken about their path. I have seen this many times in my work, and I have lived it myself. But what if nothing is late, nothing is missing, and your life is unfolding exactly in rhythm that it needs? Welcome to Unbox the Podcast. I'm your host, Sahar Palmer. This is the space, if you're new here, where we talk about self growth, intuition, and what it really means to live in alignment with who you truly are. Not as a performance, not the one who's trying to become, but who you really are when no one is watching. Today's episode follows on from our last conversation about the power of authenticity. If you've missed that episode, please go back and listen to it. Because finding yourself is the one thing that you need to do. Having the courage to keep going once you have found yourself, especially when validation is missing, is something else entirely. Recently, I've received an appreciation award from the podcasting community here in Dubai for long term commitment to podcasting. I felt deeply grateful, not because of the award itself, but because it reminded me of something essential. Nothing arrives too late. Nothing was wasted. Quiet consistency is still consistency, and it's probably what matters most. I expected that moment to feel like relief or vindication. It didn't. And that is when something became very clear to me. The award was not the reward. The reward was the person I had become by continuing without a reward. The resilience, the self-trust, the internal authority that builds you up when no one is watching. Someone once said, "My overnight success took 20 years." That sentence only makes sense when you stop measuring progress by visibility and start measuring it by integrity and seeing your achievements in the right light. There were so many times I wanted to quit. You really start to question yourself. You see others getting the exact recognition you crave, and that little voice in your head starts whispering, maybe you are just not good enough. Maybe you're on the wrong path. Maybe you should just quit while you're ahead. So, leaning on external validation makes your self worth incredibly fragile. You become dependent on things that are completely out of your control. You start making choices not based on what it feels true to you, but on what you think will probably perform well. The work itself starts playing second fiddle to how it is going to be perceived. This is the great danger of the validation trap. You slowly stop being you, you become a performance. The irony is that you move out of alignment. The moment we feel the most doubt is the moment that we're tempted to quit because no one is clapping, is often the exact moment that just pushing through would make all the difference. I hear this often from my client. Am I truly a writer? Am I truly a leader? It is in that silence, in that void, that the real work actually begins. The most important work happens when no one is watching. This is quiet consistency, the decision to show up again and again, not for applause, but because the work itself is a reflection of who you truly are. In my work, I return again and again to the four dimensions of change, the BIMA methodology. I hope you're familiar with it by now. The body knows before the mind can explain things. Emotions respond before the words are formed. The mind makes meaning afterwards when it integrates the experience. Accountability is the decision to continue, even when there are no guarantees. When these four dimensions are aligned, validation becomes secondary. It happens naturally, actually. Not irrelevant, but it is no longer the driving force for who you are or what you do. This is also why I have always kept Unbox the Podcast as a voice first space. I really love voice podcasts. Sound works differently from visuals. When you listen, your body listens too. Sound waves moves through the whole system, through the fascia. They settle into the body. Most of you take the podcast away with you on your walks to the gym, in the car, while you're moving through life. You're not sitting still staring at a screen. Your eyes are free. Your body is engaged. Your unconscious mind is still listening. Listening allows the message to land without distractions. It becomes something you live with, not something you consume. This is not the show to watch. It's a conversation to live with. It's a conversation that stays with you. This season of the podcast has been about the power of your story. Not the story that you tell others, but the one you live inside. One of the most important shifts happen when you realize that once you find yourself, you don't lose yourself again. You may grow, you may develop, you may change directions, you may take new challenges, but you do not disappear. This year, I returned fully to poetry, particularly writing in Arabic. This wasn't a strategic decision, it was an honest one. I didn't know how it would be received or how people would respond to it. I only knew that I was ready and I wanted to find out what my poetry is about and is it good enough. And when I was ready, the right people appeared. Encouragement came, support showed up, and the work took form. Not because I forced it, but because I stayed present consistently long enough to allow it to unfold. It took about 30 years, but I hope that this first collection in Arabic will be published soon. Life often responds when we stop rushing it and we start trusting ourselves. If you're doing something that reflects your core values, you haven't failed. If you're still showing up, even quietly, you are building. Do not measure your life by applause, measure it by alignment. Courage isn't always loud. Sometimes it's simply continuing with what you're passionate about. To everyone who's been listening for years, and to those who are new here, truly, thank you. Your messages, your reviews, your reflections truly is what matters to me most. This podcast exists because you're listening. So let's keep the conversations going. And please, let's keep the comments coming because they help me to keep going to align the contents of this podcast with what you're expecting it to be. So if this episode spoke to you, please follow now or subscribe from your favorite platform. And if you're ready to support your own growth in a more practical way, especially with the new year looming just around the corner, you will find practical tools, ebooks, tools for lives, resources that can help you to grow on your own online. Because I truly believe you can be your own guru if you allow your true self to emerge without having to fit in a pre existing mold. Thank you for spending this time with me on Unbox the Podcast. We have one more episode left from this current season, and I take this opportunity to wish you a very happy Christmas and a wonderful holiday season. If what you heard today touched your heart, please follow and subscribe. And if someone in your life needs to hear this, please share it. You never know whose life you might change. I'll see you next Tuesday, and until then, keep unboxing. This is Sahar Palmer, wishing you a wonderful week.